It's often said that Japanese films strike the flesh, Korean movies touch the soul, and Chinese films target the box office. The Korean movie I'm about to introduce not only touches the soul but also boasts incredible artistic depth. This is director Kim Dae-woo's first remake of a crime suspense masterpiece. Unlike the original La Cara Occulta, this version's love triangle is far more captivating. Plus, the main cast is not only talented but also easy on the eyes, so I won't forgive anyone who hasn't seen this artistic gem yet. Share it with your friends and dive in together. The story follows a wealthy heiress who, to test her fiancé's loyalty, enlists her best friend to lock her in a secret room inside her newly bought villa. The room is fitted with one-way mirrors. She can see everything outside, but no one can see in. After a smooth farewell to her friend, Soo-yeon realizes the room blocks all signals. Unbeknownst to her, she's already fallen into her friend's trap. At first, Soo-yeon smirks, proud of her stash of food and water to survive the wait. Soon, she hears the door creak open. As planned, her fiancé, Seong-jin, watches the breakup video she prepared. Seeing him crumble delights her. She just wanted to gauge how much he loves her. But after 2 days of watching his emotional meltdown, her smugness turns to worry. His sleepless, distraught state makes her think she might have gone too far. With her goal achieved, Soo-yeon decides to reveal herself, hoping to surprise him and reignite his devotion. But when she grabs the key to unlock the door, it won't budge. She distinctly remembers her friend using that same key to lock her, and why won't it work now? Spotting Seong-jin washing his face, she bangs on the glass to get his attention, but the one-way mirror muffles every sound and hides her completely. That's when panic sets in. Desperate, she grabs a makeup bottle, smashing it against the glass and pipes. Not only does Seong-jin hear nothing, but the shattered bottle cuts her hand in the chaos. Alone and helpless, Soo-yeon finally understands what it means to be truly trapped. With no one to hear her cries, eyeing her dwindling food stash, meant to last a few days, Soo-yeon rummaged around and found old instant noodles tucked away for years. The noodles were moldy, but desperate to stave off hunger, she brushed off the mold, broke them apart, and ate them dry with expired seasoning. It solved her immediate needs, but her secret hideout was known only to her best friend, Mi-joo. With no one else to turn to, she could only hope for Mi-joo's arrival. After 2 agonizing weeks, while sipping water, Soo-yeon was stunned to see Mi-joo appear before her. Beaming with relief, she thought her savior had come.
잘 지내고 있어?
But as she noticed Mi-joo's flushed cheeks and coy questions, unease crept in. How had Mi-joo slipped into her house in the dead of night, looking tipsy? Then, Mi-joo's taunting words hit her. Soo-yeon realized her trusted friend had deliberately gotten close to her fiancé, Seong-jin, while she was trapped.
너 와인 못 마셨다고 했는데도 자꾸 먹여? 이제 꺼내줄까?
Worse, the key Mi-joo had given her was fake. The real one was still in Mi-joo's hands, all part of a revenge plot. As she caught Soo-yeon's faint voice, Mi-joo flashed a sly grin. She felt no remorse, only growing amusement. Teasingly, Mi-joo asked a question into the mirror.
근데 내가 꺼내주면 나 용서해줄 거야?
Without hesitation, Soo-yeon banged the pipes hard, signaling she'd forgive Mi-joo's betrayal. But that answer didn't satisfy Mi-joo. As Mi-joo left the bathroom, Soo-yeon tracked her shadow to the bedroom mirror. There, she saw Seong-jin wrap his arms around Mi-joo's waist. The two locked in an embrace right in front of her. Mi-joo knew Soo-yeon was watching and she wasn't done. She escalated things, stepping onto Soo-yeon's future marriage bed. Furious, Soo-yeon pounded the glass and cried out in anguish, but the soundproof barrier silenced her. Worse, a speaker in the room amplified every noise from outside, tormenting her with every detail. Trapped, Soo-yeon could only suffer in silence, overwhelmed by the betrayal unfolding before her eyes. At first, Soo-yeon paced like a caged animal, but over time, she grew numb, just a wall away. Yet powerless, she knew no amount of frustration could change her fate. Mi-joo's vengeful spiral had roots years back. As a senior, Soo-yeon had brought her junior, Mi-joo, to this secret room. A strange bond formed. Soo-yeon demanded Mi-joo's loyalty, treating her like a devoted follower. They'd sneak in often, drawn to the thrill of their hidden connection, away from prying eyes. This room once belonged to their teacher, but after her retirement, the wealthy Soo-yeon bought the house and entrusted Mi-joo with the renovation. Mi-joo dreamed it'd be their future haven until 3 months ago, when Soo-yeon met Seong-jin. This man, her destined one, pulled Soo-yeon away from Mi-joo entirely. Soon after, Mi-joo received a breakup notice, with thanks for overseeing the house now meant for Soo-yeon's marriage to Seong-jin. Devastated and cast aside, Mi-joo's thirst for payback ignited. She never imagined the chance would come so soon. 2 weeks earlier, Soo-yeon, who'd vowed never to see Mi-joo again, reached out. She'd noticed her humble fiancé, Seong-jin, couldn't fit into her elite world. Even her future mother-in-law saw it. At a gala where others danced, Seong-jin retreated to wash dishes, a task her mother deemed beneath them.
잘 어울리네?
He truly believed this was praise for his hard work, but soon he caught the underlying sarcasm. Yes, he was charming, driven, and a talented conductor, but behind the flattery, her mother despised his humble origins. In their mismatched marriage, Seong-jin wrestled with insecurity. Even as a conductor, his rehearsals were dictated by Soo-yeon and her mother, the orchestra's founder and financier. He could only interact with others, but as Soo-yeon's partner and the orchestra's cellist, she couldn't tolerate him getting too close to other women, whether it was Mi-joo or Seong-jin now. Her need to control was unshakable. That tension snapped Seong-jin's
널 왜
patience.
이렇게 창피하게 만들어?
누가? 내가?
꼭 그렇게 단원들 다 보는 데서 둘이서 회의를 해야 하나? 응? 지휘자는 그냥 허수아비라는 걸 사람들이 다 알게끔 해야 되는 거니?
Soo-yeon hadn't expected such defiance from him, yet she adored him still. To avoid future regrets, she devised a test before their wedding to see how much she truly meant to him, ensuring she could keep him in check later. Staring into the mirror, she recalled the house's hidden room, known only to Mi-joo from her renovation days. Tapping the glass, she confirmed it was still there. That's when Soo-yeon approached Mi-joo. Pretending to play along, Mi-joo handed her a fake key, luring her into the trap. While Soo-yeon was locked away, Mi-joo stepped in as her cello replacement. Recommended by Soo-yeon herself, it was her first chance to connect with Seong-jin. Frustrated by Soo-yeon's sudden absence, Seong-jin met Mi-joo, who breezed through her audition with a minimalist resume and a simple recording.
혹시 그냥 재미로 지원해보는 거야? 노는이 뭐 한다고?
무슨 말씀이세요?
아니, 어떻게 이런 흔한 곡으로 지원을 합니까?
저는 슈베르트를 제일 좋아해요. 이유는 제일 슬퍼서요, 음악이. 듣고 있으면 음악이 너무 슬퍼서 제가 안 슬퍼지거든요. 그래서 제일 좋아해요.
She'd learned from Soo-yeon that he loved Schubert, a detail that softened his anger. Still, his earlier sharpness had stung Mi-joo's pride. Watching her wrestle a cello into her beat-up car, Seong-jin saw a kindred spirit, someone who'd faced struggles like his own. After she left, he replayed her performance, drawn to her shared taste. The next morning, he sought Mi-joo out, apologized, and invited her to join his orchestra. She seamlessly filled Soo-yeon's spot. With her striking looks and musical synergy, Mi-joo caught Seong-jin's eye not just physically, but through their mutual passion. Slowly, a subtle spark grew between them. After a seemingly casual dinner, Seong-jin realized he and Mi-joo came from similar backgrounds, sharing hobbies and values that felt worlds apart from Soo-yeon's elite circle. A casual remark from Mi-joo stirred his imagination, and he seized the moment, inviting her over to his place for another drink. After a few rounds, their flirtation ignited, and neither of them could keep their hands off each other. Trapped in the secret room, Soo-yeon watched it all unfold through the one-way mirror. After a few futile struggles, her fight drained away. Conspiracy or not, she just wanted Mi-joo to let her out. As if hearing her silent pleas, Mi-joo faced the mirror and asked a question.
언니 나오면 나 경찰에 넘길 거지.
Desperate, Soo-yeon banged the pipes, sending faint tremors to signal she'd forgive everything after all. She'd wronged Mi-joo first, but Mi-joo wasn't moved. On the contrary, she said she understood why Soo-yeon would long to return to a normal life. Reality, Mi-joo mused, trumped fantasy. Now, she'd take Soo-yeon's place, claiming the luxury and passionate romance for herself. Soo-yeon snapped. She pounded everything in reach, desperate to stop Mi-joo from stealing her life. In a stroke of luck, she spotted a valve controlling the bathroom's hot and cold water. Turning it, she scalded Mi-joo mid-shower. The worker noted the walls were unusually thick and suggested sealing the old pipes a fix that would doom Soo-yeon's chances of escape. Panicked, she yanked the valve again, startling the plumber. Already spooked by odd noises, he refused the job, calling it bad luck. Just then, Soo-yeon's mother showed up. Confronting Seong-jin, she found her daughter's disappearance odd, spoiled and headstrong. Soo-yeon hadn't left the country or used her credit cards in 2 weeks. For someone who couldn't survive a day without spending, it was like she'd vanished. Suspicious, She demanded the police investigate Seong-jin's home. They found nothing, leaving him frustrated. He turned to Mi-joo for comfort, only to notice her door code matched Soo-yeon's birthday. She shrugged it off as a leftover from the previous tenant, but doubts lingered. The next day, Soo-yeon's mother returned, shaken. After rewatching Soo-yeon's breakup video dozens of times, she spotted a hand behind the mirror, proof someone else was there during filming. When Seong-jin saw it, he froze. The bracelet on that hand? Mi-joo's. Stunned, he confronted her. While she cooked, he tested her phone with Soo-yeon's birthday. It failed, but her full birth date unlocked it, revealing intimate photos of him and Soo-yeon. Furious, he demanded answers. Mi-joo calmly admitted her past with Soo-yeon, claiming everything: renovations, Soo-yeon's disappearance. Even her orchestra role was Soo-yeon's plan. She'd been Soo-yeon's pawn, she said, except for one choice: falling for Seong-jin. But where was Soo-yeon? Mi-joo claimed ignorance. Helpless, he returned home, but as he washed his hands, he heard the faucet running again, an unmistakable signal of Soo-yeon's despair. Soo-yeon knew that Seong-jin was an atheist, and that eventually, he would notice something was off. Sure enough, he muttered to himself. She twisted the faucet valve, and water gushed out instantly. It clicked for Seong-jin. Mi-joo's sly grin at the mirror during their fling, her odd shower behavior, the plumber's eerie encounter, all tied to now. He tapped the mirror, hearing a hollow echo, and called Soo-yeon's name. A faint reply confirmed she was trapped behind it. Grabbing a nearby flower pot, he prepared to smash the glass and free her, but he froze. If Soo-yeon could respond, she'd have heard and seen it all, including his betrayal. He knew her temper. Rescuing her now could cost him everything he'd clawed his way up to. From a nobody to a conductor. Inside, Soo-yeon sensed his hesitation and shouted desperately, but her words didn't reach him. Coldly, he walked away, crushing her flicker of hope. Afterward, Seong-jin confronted Mi-joo, demanding to know why she had done this. Mi-joo admitted that it was her doing, but she was utterly disappointed with Soo-yeon. Mi-joo's words were harsh but not without truth. Seong-jin wanted to know what Mi-joo intended to do next, since she was the one who started all of this. However, Mi-joo made it clear that she hadn't forced Soo-yeon into the room. Soo-yeon had voluntarily entered the trap, driven by her own desires. Even if the police found out, Mi-joo didn't think she had any guilt. She even shifted the decision to Seong-jin, telling him that if he thought it was time to release Soo-yeon, then he could do so.
그래도 이건 아니야.
Seong-jin, caught in a whirlwind of anxiety, didn't know how to face Soo-yeon or what the future would hold, but he didn't believe he was the one at fault. It was Soo-yeon who had been hiding her past from him all along. Just as he was torn between his career and the importance of human life, he received a strange text, a distress message from Soo-yeon. Immediately, Seong-jin went to Mi-joo, who also confirmed she had received a message from Soo-yeon. But Mi-joo, already certain that there was no signal in the room, suspected it might be a trap. Despite his panic, Seong-jin was determined not to make another mistake. He couldn't afford to let Soo-yeon suffer any longer. Maybe, just maybe, he could still win her forgiveness. What worried him more, though, was that his mother-in-law seemed to be growing suspicious of him. She had mentioned that Soo-yeon might have left because she truly didn't want to be with Seong-jin. If Soo-yeon didn't return, it would be unreasonable for his mother-in-law to keep him around. So, afraid the truth would eventually come out, Seong-jin took the afternoon off to speak with Mi-joo. Little did he know, the one controlling the messages was Soo-yeon's mother. She had used her connections to duplicate Soo-yeon's SIM card and sent different messages to those Soo-yeon frequently contacted, just to test who would react. The quickest to respond? These two. Panicking, Seong-jin ordered Mi-joo to open the secret room door, threatening to call the police if she didn't. He understood the weight of the decision: jail time or losing his career, and knew how to weigh his options. Once inside, they found Soo-yeon, barely alive. Fearing manslaughter charges, Mi-joo rushed forward to check on her.
언니 괜찮아? 언니. 언니 정신 좀 차려봐.
Soo-yeon, with whatever strength she had left, clawed at Mi-joo, wanting to unleash all the anger and frustration that had built up over the days. Fortunately, Seong-jin intervened just in time, pulling the two apart, but Mi-joo screamed that Soo-yeon had gone mad and urged them to leave. Seong-jin, however, knew who was in charge, and he shoved Mi-joo out of the way, knocking her unconscious. He then focused on comforting Soo-yeon, swearing his loyalty as he helped the weakened woman out of the room. Seong-jin, following Soo-yeon's instructions, didn't even bother with Mi-joo's fate. That was for Soo-yeon to handle. Intending to turn himself in at the police station, Seong-jin was surprised when Soo-yeon forgave him with unexpected grace.
나 배고파. 뭐 좀 시켜줘. 김치찌개.
Even he couldn't believe how magnanimous she had become. What he didn't know was that her revenge was just beginning. Later, Soo-yeon claimed she needed a shower, but she couldn't wait to rush to the mirror, savoring her final victory, relishing every moment as the ultimate conqueror. Less than 2 weeks after Soo-yeon recovered, she and Seong-jin had a beautiful wedding. They appeared like the perfect couple, kissing each other's cheeks and looking like the ideal, loving husband and wife. But as soon as Seong-jin left, Soo-yeon wiped away the disgusting kiss with a grimace. Afterward, she dressed herself up and went to meet the teacher who had sold her the house. From Mi-joo, Soo-yeon had learned that the teacher had known all along about the secrets between her and Mi-joo. So, while they were out for a walk, Soo-yeon gave her a final warning.
혹시 미주한테 제 험담했어요? 이용만 해먹고 버리는 애라고? 나 선생님 좋아했는데.
As they spoke, the teacher thought that might be the end for her, but little did she know, it was just the last warning. Once this was done, Soo-yeon went home, grabbed food and supplies from the fridge, and returned to the secret room. Inside, she found Mi-joo, shackled and clearly not treated with violence. Instead, Mi-joo seemed to have willingly donned the shackles once again, becoming Soo-yeon's servant. Perhaps from the very beginning, whether it was Mi-joo or Seong-jin, neither could escape Soo-yeon's need for control. Step by step, she had manipulated everyone around her, bending them to her will, and no matter how they tried to escape, they couldn't outrun her grasp on their very humanity. Seong-jin feared losing his career, afraid of returning to his humble beginnings. Mi-joo feared being abandoned again, but her desires, too, were never truly extinguished. On the surface, it seemed like she had to be re-educated, but in reality, they were both fulfilling each other's needs, trapped in a cycle of mutual manipulation.